Guys, how are we doing today? Happy New Year. I hope our 2018 was wonderful, and I hope this year is going to be a very wonderful one. I want to thank every one of you that has been with me all the way, all through 2018. You guys have been wonderful. You've been the best viewers ever, and I want to appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching my tutorials. So, there's something I want to quickly talk about. I uploaded an animated typography of a Happy New Year, and I thought I should show you how I made that. This tutorial is not going to be a full tutorial. I'm just going to break down what I did. So there are some things that I will not be finishing. I will just show you how I started it, then open a new file so you can see what I did. So this is what I'm going to do. Now, if I'm to play this, you have this animated typography of Happy New Year coming out and revealing and going out. So what I did actually in this tutorial is that I did the animation, the revealing animation here in Cinema 4D. But if you notice, going out wasn't done in Cinema 4D. I had to take it to Premiere Pro to finish that. So for this tutorial, I'm only going to show you how I did the revealing of this typography type, and let's head into it. So before I start, I was looking at my WhatsApp status, and one of my friends uploaded a picture that I saw, and I loved that. This animation was gotten from this design that I saw. So I thought I should just create an animation of this image, and that's how I came about that. So what I did was, let's go into the software and start to see how I went about that. So I'm going to go to my front view. Now in my front view, I'm going to hit Shift V. Shift V will bring up this, or you could just go to mode, then you go to option. Or so as soon as you hit Shift V, this comes up. You go to the back section of Shift V. So I have the image open there. So I will just drag the image into that location. So I'm dragging this image to this place where I have the image. Then this will come up to me. And the good thing about this is that I can start tracing over this image to work. So because I don't really need to see this image, I can just use the transparency to reduce the transparency level, so that by the time I start creating the spline along this, I'm going to have my spline visible. So now what I'm going to do is, if you look at the animation, I have this revealing, then this coming up, and this coming up. So for me to do this, I need to break this edge into 3 different sections, because I want to have this coming out first, then this come out, then this one show up. So I'm going to have the first type of the edge, the next one, and the third one. But for this AP, you can notice that AP joins together. So I'm going to create one spline for this. Wherever I see an object, I'm only going to use one spline. So for this Y, if you notice the way it flows, it joins into this next Y. So I'm going to create a spline for 2 Ys. I'm going to create a spline for only N, because nothing is joined. But for EW, they are joined. So I'm going to use one spline for them, so that I can animate both at the same time. So the same thing with this EAR. You notice that EAR are joined together. So I'm going to use one spline to do that. I hope you understand that. So let's show you how we do that. So if I go to pen, I can come here and start creating. So I want the animation to start from here. So I can click and drag, so that I can have a curve. If I want to have a sharp or a linear interpolation, I'm just going to click like this. Click, you can notice that. But what I need is a curve, so I'm going to come here, click and drag. So what I'm going to do now is just try and create something very fast. Then once I'm done, I will go back and start to change something. So So this is going to be here. Okay, maybe this should be here. Okay, so maybe this should be here. This will be here. And this comes here. So basically what I'm trying to do is just try and create a very smooth curve around this. So it doesn't really have to be perfect. So once I'm done, escape to stop that. So notice this is not perfect, but I will go back to that. So for me to create this other part, I must make sure I do something. I must make sure that this spline is not selected, because if it is selected and I continue, it's going to be one spline and I don't want that. So I'm going to make sure I deselect this, then start the animation from here. Sorry, creation of the spline rather. So I'm going to have that. Escape to stop, deselect, then start new one from here. So I have a third spline. So I'm going to have this. So I have that. Escape. So for me to start smoothing this, and what I'm going to do is use my move tool, select each of those points and start moving. So if I move, notice it affects this down part of this spline, and that is not what I want. I want to be able to affect only the top part. So what I can do is I can break the handle by holding down shift, then create the type that I want. So every time I'm doing this, I'm holding down the shift key to break down the handle and make it have a smooth transition. So sometimes as I'm doing this, I'll have to be clicking on an empty space so I can see how the curve is. So if you come here, you notice that there is a sharp transition there, and this is not good for. So we need to go back and make sure we make this go, let the curve a little bit perfect, more than we had before. So I think this should come out a little bit. I think this is better. So that is for the H. For this one, we don't really have much here, so I'm going to stop that. Come to the first one, so we have a whole lot of cleaning to do here. So select this part, hold down shift. Don't forget to break this handle and have the design that you want. So I can move this in place, then hold down shift, or I could just start with this. I think that is okay. I think this top, I don't really have an issue here. This, I can try and smoothen this transition here. So for this place, maybe I would want to bring this here and try and have a very good transition in the movement. So this should come in. So I'm going to have a sharp edge there, so I want to, maybe this comes here, then make this flow. So you see that. So if I go to my perspective view, you see what I have here. So I can just start renaming this. So this can be my H knot, this can be my H1, and this can be my H2. So I hope you understand that. So that's how I did that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to skip the whole process of creating all this type. So I'm just going to go to the new file where I have everything created. So if I hit V on my keyboard, I have a project open. Yeah, so this is it for the start. So if you look at the start, I have everything created and I have named them 8 notes, this. So let me highlight everything. You see all these parts. This is the API, I've already renamed them. This is P, this is YY. You can see the joining. This is N, this is AU, and this is EAR. So the next thing I'm going to do is I need to, if you look at the animation, some parts, if I scroll this up, notice the Y that joins to this next Y. Notice there's this thing goes in and comes out of the board. So I'm trying to create an illusion of a board behind, and the typography is being blended to the board and coming out. So you see the mixing and the molting state of it getting blended to the board and coming out wherever I want it to go. So that is the intention of the animation and what I intend doing. So for me to do that, I need to make sure I manipulate the points. So if you look at all these points here, they are on the same plane. If I to go to the top view, you can see them, they are on the same line. Come to this view, they are on the same. So what I need to do is move them in 3D space so that they are not together. So I can start with my H. So maybe I want this to move in. So use my move to select the point, move this inwards, let this go also. I'm trying to blend. This should come out. So that is pretty much how I did that. So I want this also to come out a little bit. How this goes in, this also goes in a little bit. This blends out. So I'm trying to move this point in space so they are not. So maybe I will leave that. So that is for that. So for this H knot, I want to have this coming behind and coming on in front of it like this. So you already have this. I'll move this outside. So we have this effect. So this comes a little bit here. While this one, you have to come forward. Or I could just use this to handle to curve it out. So I have this effect and I could still move it out. So maybe this comes down a little bit so I have the curve. I hope you get the idea. So this can move in a little bit. Well, I can drag this out. So you have that effect. Alright, so for the next one, okay, so maybe I want this to come out. This goes in. This should come out. This goes in. Then these 2 points, want them out. Then this one out. So this looks. Now, the thing is, I'm going to set up a camera in front here, so you don't really see them going in and out. But if I come here, you can already see that all these things are not in the same space. So that is pretty much what I did for everything here. So I'm going to also skip ahead, boring you with creating all these things, and go to a new file where I have all the points displaced. So if you look here, I have all these points being displaced, and this is what I have. You can notice everything are not the same thing. So what I did now is to sweep this object and have my geometry, because right now this is not renderable. If I'm to render, I don't get anything. So what I did was to use n-sided, reduce this value, so let's say 6, and I'm going to have n-sided, then create a sweep. So let's start with the H knot. Put this n-sided as a child of a sweep, then H knot under it. Then I'm going to have this. So this is how I did that. I think this might be too much, or let's try 5. I don't want too much of a detail. I want to have this showing that is going behind and not. So I think this is fine. But if you look at this at this point, you can already see the corners of the n-sided quadrilateral. So For me to get rid of this, there is a tool here that helps us smoothing this out. If I click on this round, it rounds this out, and I have a smooth transition. So I have that. So I can just name this H notes. So for me to do everything, just have a copy of all these things, call this H1, then I have my H2. So pretty much what I did was to delete all these things because I don't really need these other ones. So bring the H1 here, bring the H2 here, then I have all this information. You can already see this design that I'm looking for. But before I start doing this, I need to, let me undo this quite a number of times. I will delete this. I want to work on this spline first. So if I'm to check this, you can notice that this tip is, the tip of, you can how tiny it is, and the transition comes big, tiny, and big, and all that. So for me to do that, there is a tool in Spline that can allow me that. So if I select the spline, I can come down to my object tab, you go to this detail, click on the detail, then you have the scale. So if I'm to bring the scale down, you can already see what is happening here. So I can use this handle to set how I want scale to go. So maybe I want to have this. I can also add points, control point, by holding down control, click. So I can have points here. So I want this part to be this. So for the ending too, I need to bring that down. So turning it that point down. It goes up. So control and click to have that point here. So this should flow in a little bit. So you already see the effect. So wherever I want to have this, I can just start to dragging this up so I can have more information here. So if I click here, I can also do the same thing here where I want this to be, so you can see this effect. You can already see what I have. Alright, so for me to do these other ones, then what I did was just to have a copy of all these, delete those. This is the H1, this is the H2. So if I bring H1 here, and I bring H2 here, so don't, this is kind of exaggerated, so I can come back here, maybe delete this point by hitting delete key. So now for me to resolve this, I could just hold down okay, so reset this. So I have this scale, I can bring this up. So if I right click on this, I can change the point to easy ease. If I'm correct, easy ease. Yeah, easy ease, so I can bring this up. So I can have that design for hold down control to get this. So maybe the same thing here, bring this down. Click this up. Control click this so you can have this. So you see that maybe I want this for my H2. So I can delete this, bring this back, call this H2, delete the H1 and bring the H2 here. So you see what I have. Alright, so that's how I did that part. So I'm going to open a new file where I have the sweep. Alright, but before I go to the next file, what I did now for the animation is to select the sweep. I basically use this and this for my animation. So the text is just to look for how you want the animation to go. So if you want the animation to start from the down part, just try and check this value to know where it starts from. Okay. Alright. So before I start animation, I'm going to hit Ctrl D on my keyboard, change the frame rate per second to 24, then go to the render setting, match the same setting, 24, and that is pretty much it. So if I go back to my Ctrl D, now for the animation, the number of seconds you want, maybe I want 4 seconds. What I did was to come to the maximum time, because I set 24 frames per second, so it's going to be 24 frames times 4 seconds that I want. It's going to give me the total number, which is 96. So the preview also 96, so I'm going to have a total number of 4 seconds. Alright. Okay, so for me to do the animation, if I go to my H knot, I can go to where I want the animation to start from. So let's say I want it to start from somewhere here. 5. Make this 100. Because I want it to start from down here. Click on this swatch to record the keyframe. Ctrl D. So I have both selected. Just click here. Sorry, I meant Ctrl Z to undo that. So where I want the next animation to get to, so I'll move my timeline there. Change it to 0, then click. So if I'm to go back and play, I'm going to have the animation. So if you feel the animation is too fast, just drag this second one to wherever you want it to get. So maybe here, for instance. So if I'm to play, the animation will be slower than usual. See? So now what I want to do is, as the animation is coming up, as it gets to this point, I want this H1 to start its own animation. So I'll come to H1. Look at the animation I want. This is not what I want. This is what I want. Because I want the animation to start from here and go all the way to my right. So I'm going to bring this to 0. Click. Move the animation up to this place and make it 100. Record the keyframe. So if I am to play this together, you see this. So as this thing gets here, I want this animation H2 to start from down and go up. Alright. So if I'm to go to the H2, I'll look for the animation. Okay, so I want this to start from here. So I'll bring it down to 0. Record a keyframe. I can drag this backward a little bit. So I want both animations to end at the same time, the first and the last. So I'll click here, make it 100. Record that. So if I'm to see the animation coming up, you can already see that. So that is how I did this animation. So I'm not going to also go through all this. So I already have a file where I've done the whole animation. So if I hit V, I have the animated sweep which I have saved. So if you look at this, I have everything animated here. Alright, so that is pretty much what I did. And if you come here, you can see that everything is displaced in 3D space. They are not on the same position. So the next thing is to try and create the blobby type. Is to try and create this effect. So let me see where the image is. is to try and create this. You can see this molten state, like you have this melting on itself and melting on this cardboard and coming out. Now, at this point, if you look at this, you don't have that melt. Everything is just normal. So for me to have the melt having effect, I need to make use of my volume measure and volume builder. So, but before then, I'm going to create a plane because that is what I want to melt it on. So make it -Z, scale this up until it covers up. But if you notice, I want this to get, you can see. So what I can do is move this backwards a little bit until I have this design that I'm looking for. I think this is fine. Yes, this is fine. So because I don't need too many geometry, I can just make this one. So I have less geometry with that plane. So let's go to the fun stuff. I'm going to bring in the model, volume builder and volume measure. Now for the volume builder, I'm going to bring in the plane. It turns white. Then bring in this happy birthday, happy new year under the plane. So everything gets added together. So if you look here, you notice everything is just. Now the reason why I don't see this is because the geometry that I have here is just one. Well, I can decide to even get rid of this plane or just bring the plane out. Then hide it. First, just hide that. So let's work with this. So this looks so pixelated, we barely can read what we have here. And the reason is because this model builder, volume builder rather, is making use of this voxel size, and this voxel size is too large, so you cannot see the information. So you're having a 10 centimeter from here to here. It's just like 10 centimeter of information that is displaying for us, so we don't really see the information. So if I want the centimeter to be half this value, you see that I have this being halved, and I'm going to have more definition on this object. So it's trying to calculate here, and I'm going to see this information coming out better. Okay, so let's try and get this down even further so you can already see 3 is now giving me more information. All right, so but for me to get that melting on itself effect, I'm going to add a smooth deformer. So the smooth deformer is going to smoothen it, but making use of you see everything goes invisible. The reason why this is happening is because it's making use of the Gaussian filter type, and this Gaussian filter type it has more effect of the smooth on the object, so it's taking the intensity is too much. So I want to have a smooth filter which has a very low intensity, so both the median curve and Laplacian flow will do better for this. So if I choose any of these, you have this giving me the information that I want. But at this point, if I render, nothing will come up because this is just a pixelated object. So for me to have this actual geometry, I need to move this volume builder into the volume measure so we can have this. So now if I'm to render, I'm going to have this type of effect that you have. So if you click here, you already have this. Okay, so that's how I did that. So now for me to now finish up this, if I'm to start rendering this animation, it's going to take long because for every frame the software will be calculating the movements and the blending and the smoothing and all that. So for me to help myself and have a faster render and not crash my machine, I need to create an Alembic of this. So for me to create the Alembic of this, all I need to just right click on the mesher, not the builder, the volume mesher. Right click on it, then you go to bake Alembic and delete, or bake Alembic. So it's going to tell you to set your location where you want to bake the Alembic, then it bakes that Alembic. Now, when you're baking this Alembic for this file, it's going to take time. So I'm not going to do that. So I have a file where I have the Alembic baked. So I have this. So I already have this Alembic baked here. So this is the Alembic file. You can already see that. So if I'm to play, now this won't take, because it's not actually making use of my system RAM. The animation is already set, so I have this. So what I did was to create a camera and animated the camera. Actually, I have this camera on this knob, and I animated the position of the knob, then the camera. I also animated the position of the Z position of the camera, while for the knob I animated the rotation. You can already see that. So that's pretty much what I did for this typography Happy New Year type that I made. So if you've learned something, I know this is not a full tutorial, this is just an overview of how, just a breakdown of how I made this. And if you have a better method of creating this, please, I would really appreciate if you put it in the description so we can also learn from you guys. And if you have any suggestion about this or any future tutorial, just hit me in the comment below, and I will sure try my best to do that in the coming tutorial. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button and also the bell, so you can get notification every time I upload a new tutorial. And I want to say a Happy New Year once more, and do have a blessed day. God bless you.